As a baby, you just wanted to learn and understand stuff. And you didn't care about what anybody else thought. You didn't care about being successful or about failing. You just had an inquisitive, open mind to understand. Like, you learned how to walk and talk. I mean, that's amazing. You had this innate desire to want to learn how to walk and how to talk. And you didn't have to go to walking school, and you didn't have to go to talking school, and you didn't have to go to thinking school. And when you were learning to walk, you got up and you fell over and you didn't go, oh, people are laughing at me. And you didn't go, maybe walking's not for me because I've failed so many times. You had an innate desire to learn how to do it. The more we can listen with no agenda, the more we can create a deeper connection with each other. I moved to this little town and I took my son to this school and I didn't talk to anyone and I thought that they would talk to me. And they didn't. They would just walk past me like, not even a smile. And I don't know how it happened, but occasionally I'd have one of their kids to my house to play, and when the parent came to pick the child up, they'd be like, blah, 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 blah. Next day, walk past me like I wasn't even there, not even a smile. At the time, my husband and I, we were building a house, so we always looked kind of a bit scruffy, and our car was scruffy, and some of the people that lived in it, they thought they were the bee's knees. And the next day I was driving to school and the wife of this man was cycling uphill and she saw me driving down and she's woohoo! Because suddenly she had a new perspective on who she thought I was. I'm not that interested in people liking me because they think I can afford something or liking me because they think I can't. That's not who I am. And so what I'm suggesting is that the less we believe our thoughts, the happier and the more secure we start to become. The happier and the more secure we feel life more deeply, and connection opens up to us. I just really want you to listen to the feeling that's under the words, because the feeling is what we're searching for. And we're always built for reality. We do really well hanging out in reality. That's where the magic is. Like, and the other thing I find interesting, going back to what we know about consciousness and how the mind works and how we are as people, we have been using outdated models for healing, and we've been looking at what's wrong in the past. All these things that are wrong that happened, we bring them into our minds, but they're in the past. They're not happening now. And the more we look at what's wrong, the more we can find things that are wrong in our life. And when we start looking at what's actually working, there's a lot. There's a lot to be hopeful for. We've all got a lot to be hopeful for. Because when we quieten our minds, we can have insight. And insight can happen at any moment. It can happen tomorrow, next week, any moment. I can't give somebody insight. I can't say, right, come here today, you're going to leave feeling completely different. That's not possible. That's not a thing. But what I hope to do is to create a space where your minds get quieter. And the quieter your minds get, that's when you have an opportunity to have an opening for something new to think about. You know, like Einstein, and there's quite a few other great scientists. They got a lot of their great ideas because they quietened their minds.
I keep thinking it's so hard to shut my head up, that whereas I need to think that it's easy and I can find that place quickly. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I like
That's really good.
Yeah.
It is simple.
Yeah.
Like, so we do really well in reality, and we come from a long line of amazing human beings. Like, if we didn't, we wouldn't be here. The challenges that human beings had to go through, like going back to the 18th century, when they believed that bacteria and germs came from bad smells. And people used to wander around with posies in their hands to keep them well and healthy, and they took posies into the operating theatre. If you had an operation those days, your chances of survival were pretty slim. And yet nobody knew that it was coming from washing their hands. And when the guy who discovered it said, hey, you need to wash your hands, everyone was like, you're crazy, what do you know? We're all experts in our field, we know what we're talking about. And before that, people thought that the world was flat. And sailors didn't want to sail too far in case they fell off the edge of the world. So we've come from all of that. And we're still going, and we're still really good. But we still haven't learned about how we think and feel, and it is so simple. It's so easy. This is the future of psychology. This is where psychology is going. Just like gravity, it's a law of nature. It's how it works. That we're always only ever living in felt feelings in the moment. Feeling, felt, thought. It's like a tongue twister, isn't it? And most of the greatest things that have come out of the world have happened through insight, not through learning. Although there's a lot of value in learning. There's a lot of value in learning how to read and how to understand maths and how to all of that stuff. Whilst we as a society measure ourselves against each other, we measure our abilities, we measure our worth, we measure how we look, we measure how we appear to everybody else. Whilst we're doing that, our thinking is contaminated. There's nothing wrong with us having contaminated thinking because our thoughts trick us. Like I often get tricked, I'm still a human, it's part of the human experience that it tricks us. Now, if I have a fight with somebody, which I really don't do very often, I can see who they really are. I can see that where they're coming from is coming from a misunderstanding about who they are. And a lot of people that can seem aggressive and angry, they're the most insecure people around. In the past, we could have got eaten by a lion, or we could have got run over by something. But now, we're a lot safer. We're a lot safer than any of our ancestors were. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that's not dangerous anymore. I guess it's inherited in nature, so that deeper feeling comes up. But we don't understand it. So we think that if we're feeling anxious, there must be a good reason for it. Because I don't know about you, but I was taught that I'm supposed to know what my feelings are telling me. Like, who taught us that? Did we have feelings school? Did we have classes teach us about feelings? So we're supposed to know what our feelings are telling us. We've just got this body, so we're supposed to know. We believe who we are is our personality and our thinking and our feelings. And that isn't who we are. It really isn't. Those are just things that we have to help us navigate this virtual reality world that we're living in. And I know that sounds strange, doesn't it? We live in this virtual reality world. But where are you experiencing me? Your eyes are looking out and you can see me. Your ears are open and you can hear that I'm talking. So you know that I'm here. I've got my eyes and they're my windows. But they're sending a message to my mind, and my mind is making the best guess it can of what it thinks is out here. So everything that I experience inside myself, even though there is something out here. My feelings interpret my thoughts interpret how I want to experience that stuff. Like, so somebody punched me on the nose, I'm going to feel like my nose is going to go, all the blood's going to rush there, and my body's going to do this amazing reaction that it does to things. But how I experience that punch on the face is going to change depending on what my mind's told me. So this person's just come up and punched me on the face. I could be thinking, how dare you? I could be thinking, ooh, I did a terrible thing. I could be thinking, that person's a horrible person. That person could be drunk, and that person could be mentally handicapped and not aware of what they've done. That person might not have even seen me and just brushed past me. So the physical feeling is the same, but the interpretation in my mind changes depending on the best guess that my mind has got of what's going on. So what if the best guess that my mind has got of what's going on out there is wrong?